A Fox News alert, Hurricane Ian intensifying to an extremely dangerous Category 4 hurricane overnight. As it closes in on Florida's shores, wind gusts maxing out at 140 miles per hour. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is set to give an update at 7:30 a.m. this morning. He is urging more than 2.5 million Floridians to leave their homes now. Florida Congressman Greg Steube's district is directly in the storm's path, and he is bracing for impact just hours from now. Congressman, good morning to you. What is your biggest concern right now?
Well, the biggest concern, and not a lot of people are talking about this, is here in Southwest Florida, we've had weeks prior to this with rainfall almost every single day. So the ground is already saturated, and you drop the last few days leading up to this with the feeder bands, we've been getting rain, and you drop some of the estimates you look online, it's 15 inches of rain. You drop that on an already saturated ground here in Southwest Florida. We are going to have extensive flooding. I'm sure we already have it already. As the day breaks and it starts to get a heavier rainfall here, you're going to see that. That is the biggest concern, on top of the wind, on top of all the other concerns you have with the hurricane, that obviously a lot of people, unless you live here, don't realize the amount of rain we already have, and dropping 15 inches on top of that is going to be pretty catastrophic when it comes to flooding.
Congressman, that's a great point. There's also an influx of new residents, and Tampa's mayor told the new residents to listen to the old-timers. She said, listen to those old-timers, listen to the people who have been around. Mother Nature wins every time.
I've been here my entire life. My family's been here for generations. We have not seen a Category 4 storm, at least in my lifetime, from what my parents can remember. So this is, we had Irma a couple of years ago, but that was only a Category 2. This is a Category 4 that is going to direct hit Sarasota, south of Sarasota. Right now, the line's a little south of Northport, but then we'll cut right up the heart of my district through the heartland of Florida. We have not seen a storm with this power and this strength. And added on top of that is the storm surge. When Irma came, we didn't experience that in Southwest Florida. We are going to see 8 to 10 feet of storm surge. So those coastal communities, there were evacuation orders yesterday and the day before. Hopefully those people heeded those evacuations orders and got out, because 10 foot of storm surge is going to take out the first floor of any of those buildings that are on the coastline and in those barrier islands. So hopefully we don't have rescuers that are going to have to go out there after the storm goes past, because people have heeded the calls of local government to evacuate.
Yeah, a lot of times in the days leading up to a hurricane, especially when there's a storm in Florida, you see people still on the beach, and reporters ask them questions. Are you leaving? Are you staying? To say, you know what, we've ridden this out before, we're going to do it again. Do you think that people are taking this one more seriously?
I hope they are. The challenge with this one is we did have early warning, but a lot of those spaghetti models had it going up into the panhandle and much farther north than here. And in the last, 24 hours, it made a significant turn to the right pretty dramatically, where suddenly my district is right in the middle of the eye of this, where previously was like north of Tampa. So hopefully people were watching that change over the last 24 hours. I know people that I've talked to tried to get out of town yesterday. Hopefully the people that are living in an area that doesn't have hurricane shutters, that is on a coastal community, got out as soon as they realized that this was coming directly for us.
Yeah, Congressman, just trying to put myself into your shoes right now. You are an elected leader, and the constituents in your area are definitely in crisis, but you're also, you have a family, and I'm sure you're concerned about them. So how are you personally handling this?
Yeah, I was at the EOC when the governor came down yesterday here in Sarasota County, and then literally came back to my house and cut down 4 dead pine trees that I knew, if they went a certain direction, would take out a fence and a power pole. So I made preps. My family is good. We've prepared over the years since Irma. We have a backup generator. We have hurricane windows and shutters, but there are a lot of people that don't have that, because hurricane windows are not inexpensive, and a lot of people just haven't, if they have an older home, haven't done that. So we've been helping neighbors board up their windows that aren't hurricane shutters with plywood. Fuel has been kind of an issue I have seen. The state's saying it's not an issue, but when I've gone the last couple of days, you haven't been able to get anything. But at this point, we're at 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts outside, 25, 26-mile-an-hour sustained winds. So you're not going out in this. If you're where you are, you're going to be shut in for the rest of the day.
Wow. You know what? That's a scary prospect, because some people may wake up and say, now's the time to leave. But It's already getting very dangerous. And then you think about who lives in Florida, and there are a lot of elderly folks in Florida, folks who are less mobile. What should they do?
Yeah, my new district is the most elderly district in the entire nation. Sarasota, Charlotte, and Northern Lee County. They should, if they are having problems now or they are still at home, they need to get to a shelter. Sarasota County alone has 14 shelters. Several of them are medical-ready shelters. So if you need oxygen tanks, if you need all of these things, they are prepared. There's one near my house at Tatum Ridge that is fully prepared for those type of scenarios, for especially the elderly and those that need medical needs. So they need to go online, on their phone, however they can get online if their power is out, and make sure that they get to a shelter immediately.
When do you expect the worst to be? When can people expect the worst to come?
The worst is going to be like late this afternoon, kind of early evening, like 3 to 7, I think is going to be the worst as the eye wall comes over. And if you look at the size of the eye, it goes from like Northport down to Cape Coral. Significant breadth of significant winds we're going to experience.
We have to leave it there, but we're wishing you and everybody else in Florida the very best. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.